All right, before I get started, I've got to share this story with you. A week ago, I was finishing a truly brilliant lecture on Harold Laswell's methods of communication, who said what to whom, through what channel with what effect, and managed to link in Marshall McLuhan, the medium is the message, at which point I said to my students, you know, I'm going to be coming and doing this TED Talk, and I'm going to be talking about this 20-year journey that I've had, and of rediscovering the linkage of fashion, context, and communication, or function and communication, all through shirts. And my students sort of looked at me and their eyes glazed over, and I'm thinking, you know, this is kind of a half-baked idea, but it could work. And one student comes up to me as they're leaving the lecture hall and says to me, you know, James, have you looked at what you wear? And I said, and he said, do you listen to what you say? I was like, okay. And he says, I don't think your idea is a little more than half-baked. I think you're right on track. So I want to start off and give you this story and how it works. This 20-year story starts with this shirt. In 1989, my cousins in Riverside, California gave me this fantastic Hawaiian shirt, vintage, as a gag gift. Little could they have known how this would actually change my life fundamentally. After that point, if you had met me in the hallway of any institution, any university, you would have met a young, buff grad student who was wearing something like this, a very nice Pierre Cardin fashion. I would have had it undone at the collar, a little bit of chest hair showing, function, but there was almost no communication involved in the shirt. It was kind of odd. And in fact, if you take a look around the room now yourselves, you can also see that many of you are dressed as I was at that point, except for maybe Jessie, if she's here. Jennifer's got the crown on. She's right in front, our accountant. We've got Scott sitting in the back. Scott, stand up. He's shirt proud. And Arthur might be here somewhere as well. These guys, all of you stand up if you're here. They're all really doing the thing with the shirts, and they're thinking about communication. There we go. Wonderful. So, don't beat yourselves up if you're thinking, okay, I've missed out on a piece of the communication element of my wardrobe, because what took me 20 years to figure out is going to take you just 4 minutes. And that is that it's not just what we're saying. And think about any time you've gotten up to do a presentation. You spend an extraordinary amount of time planning what you're going to say. You spend an equally extraordinary amount of time planning how you're going to say it. And then you create some extraordinary PowerPoints. You've invested hundreds of hours if you plan it all out. But how much time do you spend thinking about what you're going to wear and the message that that is sending to match your presentation? Now, at some point, we all lose our mojo. And if you think about when you were this high, what do you know? You're walking around dressed as cowboys, as princesses, as dragon slayers. You had the fashion, you had the function, and you had communication all tied up. If you go to the store today, you might see someone walking around wearing a shirt that says, help here. If you go to the grocery store, you might see a security guard. They've got fashion, function, and communication all wrapped up. But we don't seem to employ it very well. So I know what you're saying. Give me a break. What are you talking about? How can this really be applied to anything? Well, I thought, what if I was to demonstrate how this fashion, function, and communication idea could be applied to TED? So, yesterday we heard a conversation about SETI. Now, if Jill Tarter had gotten up, or the gentleman who was talking yesterday had gotten up, and they were wearing this shirt, don't you think the conversation would have gone better? Trying to communicate with extraterrestrials, and they're wearing the extraterrestrials. Or, last year you might have heard a great talk by John Horner. He was talking about dinosaurs and dinosaur eggs. Instead of getting up in his black shirt, what if he was wearing this? Wouldn't have that made a very different presentation? I think we need to fundamentally consider how we're communicating. Not just what we're saying and how we're saying it, but what we're wearing and how that links into the conversation. There's 2 things I want to leave you with. The first thing I want you to remember and always keep in mind is be careful what you give people as a gag gift. The second thing that, and I think this is really important, that you need to remember is that every shirt has a story and every story has a shirt. So choose wisely. Thank you.